What up, everybody? How we all doing? My name's Protoman. This is the Transformer Slag podcast live stream Saturday night main event. We are here today to talk about Transformers, recap the news, take some super chats, and try to power through this because it was a crazy week for me, to say the least. It's tire season in Canada, so I have been super busy. I missed 2 days of podcast stuff during this week. That's probably the most it's been in the past 3 years that I missed a day of doing the podcast. But it's been a crazy week though. A little quiet on news. We have a little bit of news, but we got a lot of stuff that came in the PO box, stuff that was found through the picking craziness. Just a lot of cool stuff that we're gonna cover, and then we'll take some super chats and just relax for the rest of the evening. It's gonna be a quiet one, but I think it's because we got something new that's coming in terms of fiction. So I think that's probably why it was a quiet news week, because we're gonna be chattering about this kind of stuff. So let's go to the top of it. Let's tackle the news, and then we will relax for the rest of the evening. So, first piece of news we got was JT Prime 17 was talking about how there is going to be a bunch of Transformers Legacy Deluxe Silverstreaks that will be showing up, surprise, surprise, out of nowhere with no announcement in the extremely near future. They have already started hitting the distribution centers for Target, so keep an eye out for a certain Transformers Legacy Deluxe Class Silverstreak that is supposedly going to be a Target Red Card exclusive. I know that a lot of people aren't happy about that, but I mean, look at the Red Card exclusive Road Rage. It seems to be the flavor of what's going on here. Those Diaclone, Microman kind of color schemes, or the oddball color schemes, they seem to find their way into the exclusivity of the Transformer world. I know, look, in my opinion, I think it would have been cool to get it as a retail release, because I think it's a fantastic color scheme. And of the Datsun brothers, of the masterpieces, I think the blue streak is the sexiest of the bunch. Just looks amazing in that classic blue on the Datsun Z. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. So we'll see what happens. But the information is that it's already in the Target's UPC code archive and in their listings. It's under TRA Legacy BB Deluxe Silverstreak. It's going to be a solid case of 8. Solid case means that it's one character for the whole case. So a solid case of 8. So we're going to have 8 Silverstreaks in a case here. From what I heard, it wasn't too difficult to get some of the past Red Card exclusives, so it won't be too bad, I hope. I might be wrong on this, but everything's different from region to region. But that being said, I mean, hey, it is what it is. MSRP $22.99, comes with his little guns and everything, and here is a nice comparison of how he is next to his repaint brothers and sisters and uncles and aunts. Looks fantastic. Looks really, really, really good. I like what I see here a lot. I think I'm gonna try to figure out a way to get this guy, because I think it looks amazing. I really do. I really, really do. So let me know what you think about this. I mean, it is gonna suck because of how tough it is. It's gonna be to get it, but I mean, especially for a guy like me in Canada, what is a Target? But it is what it is. Going from technically one Casey Kasem voiced character to another now, kind of a coincidence in terms of news this week. Let's talk about the different photos that have been starting to surface of the full color final production of this still yet to be announced by Takara Masterpiece Cliffjumper, or as he's known in Japan, Masterpiece Cliff. Now, a while, I want to say back in August, we got to see the green test shot colors of these, showed us what the accessories were, kind of gave us an idea of how the transformation is going to work. It was mistransformed, those early images, both in robot mode and in alt mode, in the Porsche mode. So we still don't really have properly transformed photos, because even if you look at the robot mode here, the left arm is mistransformed, the chest is mistransformed. There's still a lot of work to be done with whoever's taking these photos from the factory. And then, of course, even the alt mode here looks like it's not transformed completely. But at least it gives us an idea of how things are going to be. It shows how the faux chest is going to work for the top of the car to the chest, which is supposed to be the top of the car, but it's a faux chest, much like the Bumblebee. So I dig it. But I will say one thing, and we'll have a side photo here. He does, I guess, fold down a lot better than the Bumblebee that it's retooled from, the Masterpiece Bumblebee 2.0. What's up, David? And, I mean, geez. I like what I see, personally. I really do. I mean, maybe it's just because I have a soft spot for Cliffjumper, and I think he's a really cool character, and he's a red Porsche, and red Porsches are always awesome. But I really like what I see. I think he does, like, the way he does his feet, the way his backpack, compresses better. I think all we need to see is just some properly transformed images, like some really good dynamic transformed images. And then I think it's going to sell it on a lot of people. And then hopefully we'll maybe get a tap out repaint, and who knows what we'll get in the future. Again, the images on the right there, which were from the test shot prototype, shows that some of the other extra accessories he's going to come with, his gigantic bazooka that he was going to use on Megatron to no avail, his glass gas that comes out of the back of his Porsche mode, which he used on Laserbeak's little gun, and then of course he has his actual gun itself. He also comes, if you look at the bottom right image there of the robot mode face, he comes with two different face sculpts. That's an open mouth face sculpt, I guess, and then the other one here is a closed mouth face sculpt. So it looks like he's also going to have two different face sculpts, much like the Bumblebee counterpart did too. So it's pretty cool. What's up, Larry? And we'll see what happens. I mean, I think it looks great. I know that there's been a lot of people that have been hot or cold about this release, but again, I feel like I can't hate on this because it's an option that we yet to have gotten. There's so many different third-party and official Cliffjumper toys out there right now, that if you want some other options, third-party, Earthrise, all the other ones give you something that you need to do. The only option that I've yet to see that's been done properly has been a Flerodiri animation model Generation 1 cartoon version. So Takara's doing that. And I mean, in my opinion, I feel that's what Takara's goal really has been up to this point, with the exception of the Project Skids. And I guess to an extent, maybe the Takara Tomy Raiden. We'll have to see how that really pans out in the end. But, I mean, I think it looks great. That's just my call. I mean, I understand if some people don't like it or if they think it looks kind of weird. But I think it looks really cool. I think it looks really, really cool. But that's it more or less for that. Other news, speaking of another red Autobot that's leaking because of listings, JT Prime 17 found just this morning the Transformers Generation Studio Series Voyager Class 86 Ironhide found in Target's UPC and EAN code listings. Yet another item we did not know was coming, and it's a Studio Series 86 release, and I think primarily that's the case because there's just no room in Legacy right now, considering we kind of know what 2022 and early 2023 is going to be rolling out. So they're just pretty much already, locked in with all those characters. So I guess Studio Series 86 is empty, and that's where you stick some of those guys. Now the question is, how are they going to go about this? Keep in mind, we have, in terms of animation model accurate Ironhides, we have the Masterpiece on the left, and we have the Earthrise one on the right, which was a deluxe class and a retool, extensive retool of the Siege toy, which, by the way, is a fantastic toy too, if you could get out of your way to get that. So it's really just, how are they going to go about this? What has been learned between these two molds that you could apply to, let's say, a Voyager budget, and then go to town on that? Not to mention, it's a Studio Series 86 Ironhide, which that middle photo there, I mean, what is he going to come with? Like a battle damaged chest or something from getting killed by Megatron? Spoiler on a 35 plus year movie. I don't know. I don't know what garners a Studio Series 86 Ironhide as opposed to, let's say, a Legacy, Generations, Earthrise, whatever Ironhide. So, but it's a Voyager class. Interesting choice to make it a Voyager. Gives it a little more budget. I think that they could get away with it being a Voyager and still not be too out of scale with everyone else. They'll probably really play up the rocket sled, like Ironhide's little play set, if you will. And they'll just kind of, I guess, use the rest of that budget to give them something that's maybe slightly taller than the other deluxes, and it'll work out. I mean, obviously there's some animation errors from the old cartoon that make Ironhide much taller than everyone else, but I mean, what is scale with G1 really in a lot of ways? So it's all over the place, but I am interested to see what happens. I am interested because as a Voyager, the one good thing means that there's more budget. I'm reminded of Kingdom, where all of those Kingdom Voyagers, they all were knocked out of the park. They were all amazing because they just had just a little more budget, that even if a Voyager was a smaller figure, it was a really good deluxe class figure instead of a kind of a mediocre Voyager, where, like, I'm even reminded of stuff like Studio Series 86 Hot Rod, where it's a Voyager class. It really is a deluxe in a lot of ways, in a modern terms of sense, but we'll see what happens. I'm very intrigued by this because we already had the Ironhide with the Prowl 2-pack that had a lot of drama. A lot of people were not able to pick that up, and this gives people another opportunity to get an Ironhide, and potentially a better Ironhide, dare I say. I don't know. We'll see when it comes out. But that'll definitely make a lot of people happy who didn't get that Prowl Ironhide 2-pack. And, of course, we all know what this means, too. Expect your Ratchet at some point. Maybe a black Ironhide repaint. That'll be a Generation Selects kind of thing. I'm sure we're going to see a bunch of stuff. Heck, there was a listing for a Generation Selects Guard. We didn't know who that is, what's the story with that. And now it could potentially be Decius's Guard, which was the drones that were repaints of Ironhide molds. Maybe this Guard is a Voyager scale repaint of this thing. Who knows? I'm diving deep into it here, but this is fascinating to say the least. It is very much fascinating, and this was just recent news as of this morning, if this is news to you. And speaking of this morning, I'm actually behind on this because I had such a busy day today, and you'll get to see what all the cool stuff I got. But the final chapter of Transformers Cyberverse, or as Hasbro confusingly still has no way of, Transformers Bumblebee Cyberverse Adventures. So as of this recording, part 1 right now of the 2-part season finale is on YouTube. It debuted today. For Netflix users, which, I mean, everyone has YouTube, so I don't know how they're giving Netflix any kind of time here. But Netflix, it'll be available November 22nd if you want to watch it on Netflix. And part 2 will be available on the Transformers YouTube channel November 20th and on Netflix December 22nd. Supposedly, Canada might be getting everything tonight. So I'll keep you posted on that. I have not actually seen the episode yet. I was way too busy today to even find 40 minutes aside. I'm going to watch it tonight. I'm going to sit down, nice glass of water, and just enjoy. I'll watch it, and then I'll do a review potentially on Sunday, Monday, and give my take on it. I'm not too sure if I want to watch both together and then do a review and do like a series finale kind of, overview, or just a standalone thing. I'm still on the fence. I'll see how I feel, but I will watch it tomorrow. So I have not seen it. A lot of people I don't know who has not seen it yet, so try to keep it spoiler free for a lot of people who have not seen it yet. But supposedly it's hype. I mean, I like Cyberverse. I think it was pretty cool. And that's it more or less for the news. So again, Cyberverse, check that out. And reminder there from Hasbro, one of our sponsors, to go check it out on the YouTube channel. Traffic to them is monetization, I guess. That's how they make their moolah. Another thing also, the latest episode of the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Me and Aaron, we recorded the Halloween episode, and it is up and live on the Toy Armada YouTube channel. We talk about horror stuff, so we're talking Jurassic Park, we're talking the Aliens movies. We cover a lot of ground, about a good hour and some minutes in there. So if you want to have something a little different outside of the Transformer world, even though we still bring up Transformers every time, because whenever you're talking Kenner and Hasbro, those two entities pop up ever so often. Check it out, the Toy Armada. When you're done watching the Cyberverse episode, you're still bored and you don't want to watch my face. And the very visual Toy Armada. We have lots of images and stuff. It's not just us two rambling yet. Anyways, that's it more or less for the news. Not much else. Just going to cover our sponsors before we get into what we got this week. We have Symbiote Studios, our amazing sponsors. Again, they're chilling back there with Bumblebee today. There's going to be a whole bunch of new plush announcements in the very near future. Expect Series 4 to be announced after San Diego Comic-Con. So we're going to have teasers, we're going to have images, we're going to have all kinds of stuff. So get ready for that. But if you have not gotten any of the plushes yet, I don't know what's still in stock because stuff keeps selling out. But Series 1, 2, and 3 of the plush is available, including the G.I. Joe stuff, the pins, the t-shirts. The pins are awesome. The t-shirts are awesome. I saw someone got a Soundwave shirt after watching one of my streams. They were very hyped about it. So check them out. SymbioteStudios.com. Link is in the description below if you want to pick up stuff. They got a lot of cool stuff. More t-shirts are coming. More plush is coming. This is an ongoing official Transformers initiative by Hasbro and Symbiote Studios to get you guys all hyped about the robots in disguise. And of course, for San Diego Comic-Con coming up from Symbiote Studios, we're going to have Unicron, the gigantic plush, which will be one of the SDCC exclusives. And any stock that is left over, if it does not sell out, will be available online. So be sure to check that out if you want a gigantic pillow chaos bringer to hug you with his horns. Oh, he doesn't want to hurt you. He does not want to hurt you. He wants to hug you. So check that out too, with all the other cool plush and stuff that are coming in the near future. SymbioteStudios.com. So, let's get into what we got this week. Past couple weeks, I have gotten nothing really. But then a whole bunch of stuff just dropped in my lap. So the first thing I want to talk about is something that I was working on. And so I got my workers copy. Transformers, the deck building game. I am a tester and a creative consultant on the game. It's a deck building game, which is different from your traditional trading card game. It's more of a single player or two player kind of concept. If you ever played games like Dominion and stuff like that. It's not out this week. I believe next week it will be hitting local game stores. So if you are into deck building games, TCGs, that kind of stuff, in this day and age where we're still kind of stuck at home, nice cool thing to play with your friends and family. Really cool stuff. And there's more to come from this in the future. This is just the first set. There's going to be expansions. There's going to be more stuff. There's a reason why I haven't talked about this at all on the podcast, because there's a lot of NDA in relation to this. But this is pretty hype. Pretty cool stuff. And so I got my workers copy in the mail today. Even the guy, Dan, who was like the main contributor of the game, he still hasn't gotten his yet in the mail. So we're all just waiting on that right now. So that was the first thing that came in the mail. That was like around Monday. And then checked out the P.O. box. And I got in the P.O. box a huge surprise from Timmy K. Poindexter. He sent me a gift in the P.O. box. And Timmy, and he wanted me to shout out his son Gabriel and Daniel. Good name. Good name in the second one there. He wanted me to shout out Gabriel and Daniel. And he was like, hey, Proto, I got the Battle Across Time toys, and I just kind of wanted the G1 guys, so do you want the Beasts because you're such a Beast Wars dude? And I was like, yes, I do. Any non-gold plastic Grimlock is good for me. So he sent me these and hooked me up with these, so big shout out to Timmy K. Poindexter, who I think is in the chat. I think I saw his name pop up. Everything passes so quickly. So that was pretty hype of him to send these, especially the Dinobot. My goodness. I mean, I'm really hyped about the Skywarp. Like, go on my Twitter, not on my Twitter, on my Instagram. You're going to definitely see photos of these in the near future on the Instagram. I'm going to do some like comparisons with the vintage ones and all stuff. They look great. They look great. Absolutely fantastic. Really cool. Again, thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Timmy. Thank you, Timmy. These are really awesome. And then a lot of weird stuff too. So my pops, he did the tour of the flea market scene and stuff. He's a big toy collector. Anyone who saw all the videos online and everything of my father's toy collection and stuff. And so he hunts for Transformer stuff and robot stuff. He has a very good knowledge of what is Transformers. And he found a whole bunch of weird things. Obviously some broken, some not. They probably are going to be showing up in maybe a Transformers parts party in the future when the world's back to normal. A gigantic, broken, missing the wings Dragon Storm from Transformers: The Last Night. And this is, I think this is, confirm me if I'm wrong, I was having this discussion with my dad. I think this is the French-Canadian version because it doesn't say full words. Autobots. It just says Autobots. I don't even know what that's. Quintessa. The fact that he just says one word, I don't know, because I know in the past with some of the other movie toys, for Francophone regions, they would have them just say one word instead of full English sentences. So I don't know about that. Someone confirmed. This is one of the big, ugly, auto transform kind of things, which normally I would avoid this kind. I think, wasn't this like MSRP like 60, 70 bucks when this first came out? Anyways, whatever. My dad paid nothing. So, sure. We'll see what happens. He's still talking. This one shocked me. This one shocked me a lot when he found in the wild Leader Class Studio Series 86 Grindor, but it's missing an arm. But Leader Class Studio Series 86 Grindor in the wild. It's like the arm is literally broken. Look at that piece. It's busted off. What is this? This was like $59.99, wasn't it? Like, this is crazy. Some kid bought it, broke it, and then it ended up in the ether of life. So yeah, that'll be in a Transformers Proto Man parts party when the world opens up again. Be sure to check that out. Two more here. Let me just lean over and grab these. This one I'm gonna be selling. The other one I'm keeping because I don't have it. But so the Leader Class Transformers Prime Optimus Prime looks gorgeous. So I'm pretty sure somebody's gonna be happy to get that, considering probably the Legacy one is not gonna look anything like this. So that's gonna definitely happen. And this one I don't have because I mean his scale was so weird. This is the Voyager / Leader Class scale of Transformers Prime Bumblebee, which had the little guns and everything that popped out and stuff. So, pretty hype. I never had this one. Never picked them up because I was just like, I don't need it for like the display. But hey, sure, why not? And the last thing I got, and this I picked it up because I thought it was so cool. So this is a display for, I guess it's Bratz or Monster High or whatever. But I saw this at a flea market and I was just like, that is so cool for like Energon and stuff. Like you put like Beast Wars characters or something. What a display. Like this thing is amazing. I don't know. I think it's for like those dolls or something because it says MGA on the bottom. So it's probably for that and it has, lights and everything. I don't know what this one does. I didn't even, okay, that's just for solid and that's test. Either way, really cool. I really dig that a lot. That's like some Beast Wars Part 2, Episode 2, fighting in the Energon mines kind of stuff. That looks really cool. That's going to be good for photography on the Instagram. But that's it, more or less. But a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool little toys and everything. After weeks and weeks of nothing. We got a bunch of super chats, guys. Don't worry, I'm going to get to them. I will get to all the super chats. Don't worry. We're going to have to just scroll back up to everything. So keep those super chats coming. I will get to all of them today. Don't worry. But I had a super busy day. Switching tires, had to do laundry, had to do groceries. We're running all over the place. It was a nutty day. And honestly, the worst thing of them all was I recently got back into one of my old drug habits of Diablo. I started playing Diablo again. The recent Diablo Resurrected came out. Started playing that, destroyed that, and then I'm like, I want to go back and play old school Lord of Destruction, like with the old graphics on Battle.net. And after I got my druid to level 90 because I'm on drugs and it's freaking crazy. Went back and played Diablo 1 again, beat that again. Now I'm just playing Diablo 2 online, and it's eating way too much of my time, and I'm reminded when I was in college why I should have stayed away from that. But that's a whole other story. So if anyone wants to play some D2, give me a call. Um, anyways, let's jump into some super chats, and we'll just chill for the rest of the evening. So we got one from Zachary Gray with the super chat. Hey, Proto, huge fan. Wanted to share. I got TFCC Wreckage this week. One of my personal grails. Ooh, that's a really good one. That is a really, really good one. I didn't, you know what's amazing? I didn't get to work on that one because when I came into the Transformer Collector Club, I was doing a lot of the later stuff, like the Pretender shells and the Combiner teams and stuff. Like Combiner Wars really was like when I started doing a lot of that fun pub stuff. But I mean, that's still a really good one too, man. That's pretty awesome. That is pretty awesome. That's one of your grails though. Wow. Was it that tough to get? I don't know what the secondary market is on him. I'd have to look it up. Cuz usually it's tough to get like old school Bakon stuff. I didn't know some of the TFCC stuff is starting to get tough now too. But thank you for the super chat, Zach. And enjoy Wreckage. I wonder who worked. I think that was Jesse that worked on that one. I'm trying to think who decided the colors on that. I'd have to ask Jesse. He would know. Just a dad who loves toys more than his kids do. Don't we all? With the super chat. Have you heard about the role-playing game? Yes, I did. Of the Renegade Studios role-playing game is still in development right now. Unfortunately, not part of that team. I would have probably liked to be part of that team, but by the time that was put together, and I think it's a very small team, I was busy with other stuff. So unfortunately, I would have loved to kind of be on that too. I'm not a big pen and paper D&D kind of guy, unfortunately. I'm more of a, I don't know, like a Warhammer, more tangible kind of thing. The first time I ever played D&D, my friend kind of turned it more into a Warhammer kind of thing. Because, shout out to Ben, because I wasn't too big on it. I'm more of a Magic the Gathering. I like to feel and touch stuff. I like to play with things, not just sit with pen and paper. But if you like it, you like it. Hey, let's see. Andy Davis is a 7-month member. Anything on your Christmas wish list? Ooh, what would I like to get for Christmas? I could get anything for Christmas. What would it be? That's Transformer related. Probably, I probably would want something really, maybe more Commander class Rodimuses so I could build an army of them because I want to have more of those. I don't know. I do not know. I don't know. There's, in case you haven't looked around me, guys, I kind of have a lot to begin with, and I'm very satisfied in life. In terms of non-Transformer stuff, I've been looking at a lot of vintage tabletop, gaming stuff and video game stuff. Just trying to build my collection on that. And just been looking at boxes more than anything to kind of complete them because I've had the games for years. But nothing particular comes to mind. But Christmas list Transformers. Oof. Something cool. Let me think of something cool. Something cool that would be cool to get. I never got that I would have loved to get. I never got Masterpiece Inferno. And I'd love to get him. Because I love Inferno. It was always a childhood favorite of mine. I always thought he was such a cool character. Masterpiece Inferno, I'll say. That's on my Christmas wish list. One day get Masterpiece Inferno. Or Kingdom Inferno. Because Kingdom Inferno is good too. I heard he was an improvement from the grapple mold. Thank you, Andy, for continuing to be a member of the pod. Princeton Phalanx 59. Hey, Proto. What do you think about the new studio series Bumblebee movie Wheeljack? I think it looks great. I mean, the one thing that I find hilarious is that we have all of these Bumblebee movie characters from Cybertron getting toys, and we never saw 90% of their alt modes. So it's going to be very interesting to see how Hasbro or Takara, whoever designed those toys, where they're basing their ideas of those alt modes and transformations. Like, supposedly we're going to be getting a Soundwave. What does Soundwave turn into? Does he turn into a boombox, or does he turn into some kind of vehicle mode. I mean, I know there's a third-party company that did one that turned into a boombox. I forget the name. I talked about it on the podcast like a year ago. But, I just think that's the funny thing more than anything else is the fact that we have, we have Bumblebee movie toys from the Cybertronian scene in the movie of characters that didn't transform. I still think. But I think the Wheeljack looks fantastic. And a lot of people were saying, like, we didn't get a Cybertronian Wheeljack to go with our Cybertronian buzzworthy Bumblebee. But this is probably the next best thing, a lot of people are saying. In the meantime, like that could kind of be a good stand-in. So I dig it. I think it looks great. And, it still begs the question, what's the story with Wheeljack in the movie continuity? Is it Q? Is Q a different character? Who knows? But, I mean, it's the Michael Bay movies, so who knows? Let's go to some more. Let's see. We got Andy Davis with the YouTube membership. Found it. Par Toyco. Oh, laugh out loud surprise. Oh my God. Winter Disco. Crystal Star by MGA. Oh, okay, so here it is. So it's laugh out loud surprise. OMG Winter Disco Crystal Star. So that's what it is. So if you want an amazing display for your Beast Wars or Transformer stuff, the Winter Crystal Disco Display Star, whatever it's called. Yeah. Obviously I paid like nothing for this, but if you could get it on the cheap, I guess. I don't know, maybe there's in the secondary market someone's just parting with this, but this is really, I love good photography background stuff. I love that kind of stuff, and stuff like this, that normally like only like a 3D printed world would have. I dig that a lot. That looks really cool. Really, really cool. Thanks, Andy, for finding that and diving deep into the fashion doll world to find that. Just a dad who loves toys more than his kids do. Proto. I've been going to college for diesel technology. Love turning wrenches. Well, my friend, the one good thing with diesel technology is you're probably going to be employed for a very long time because, that's an industry that is completely separate from the rest of the car world. So if and when you have diesel tech, what's cool about that too, and this is just a suggestion, if your city, and this is from a personal experience with a friend, if your city has a really big public transit system, usually the public transit system is owned by, the government and stuff like that. If you could get a job working on buses for the public transit system, it's like working for the city. You're going to make some good, safe money with a good retirement. Shout out to my friend Kiru, who works for the public transit system here in Montreal, and does a very good job. Very good there. So awesome for him, and awesome for learning to turn them wrenches and damaging your hands and everything. I am not going to ever be a hand model with these hands. These are some grimy looking hands. Congrats, my friend. Andy Davis says it's only $15 at Walmart. Wow, that's great. And you get, what? Buy the disco set for the background and then sell the dolls. I'm sure someone would want the dolls, That's pretty hype. That's actually not bad at all. I'm actually surprised. Downright Superb says, Proto, why didn't Hasbro give us cartoon accurate beast modes in Kingdom just so they could give us upgraded versions later? A little bit of that. I mean, I've said that before. Like Hasbro, it's a mixture of, is the budget there even to do it, combined with the fact that you don't want to give the best product right away. I mean, just think of any G1 character that has had multiple classics, universe, generations, versions throughout the years, literally since 2006 when all of this started. Think about that and how it's been an evolutionary, scale of people rebuying the same characters over and over because the next version is better than the last. And it's the same. I mean, even imagine you're a Masterpiece collector and you buy all the Seeker jets, like the first ones, MP3 Starscream and the crew. And then they do those better molds later with the better paint scheme and the remolded body. I think it was MP11, if I remember correctly. Was it MP11? Whatever, MP11, MP12, which was the next Starscream mold. And then everyone rebought the jets again. And now we have another Starscream mold, which is going to have another crew of jets and all of this stuff going on. So it's something that, just within the Masterpiece world, you're spending a ton of money upgrading characters. But from our perspective, like, wow, look at all this money we're spending. From Hasbro Takara's perspective, it's like, hey, we got them to buy the same character again and again and again. And it's not just exclusively a Transformer thing. It exists with Star Wars. It exists with Marvel toy collectors. How do you rebuy another yellow suit Wolverine figure with claws over and over? Well, make a better sculpt, make a better mold. Do something that speaks to the fandom and stuff. So it's something that I feel I feel that the reason why we didn't get the best of the best was partially, the limitations of budget, because, like, let's say the Cheetor. I think the Cheetor kind of got the short end of the stick in Kingdom, but what could you really do with a modern deluxe class price point? Because, I mean, look at that reissue Cheetor that's on the shelves right now, and how much that costs compared to the Generations Kingdom one. And it already tells you how different deluxe toys have already evolved, even in terms of how much plastic and budget and paint. Oh my God, putting all the paint for all those spots on Cheetor alone probably ate all the budget. You can't mold that in plastic. So it's nuts. It's nuts. But, then you look at stuff like Dinobot. Beast Wars Dinobot in Kingdom, I think, was fantastic. It's about as masterpiece as it gets. How are you going to improve that? I have no idea, short of buying the Masterpiece toy. And even then, some people aren't a fan of that one, although I think it's fantastic personally, but that's just me. Or the Tigatron. So there's some that I think they looked at Cheetor and went, Cheetor is a marquee character. We're going to be revisiting him a lot of times. We don't need to make him perfect right away. We could sell that character again later. Where Tigatron, no offense to Tigatron. I love Tigatron, got his Masterpiece, but that's a character that I feel, they're probably going to revisit him maybe every 4 years at best. Not something that you're going to see every year, like a Cheetor. Cheetor had a bunch of toys within the past 3 years. So that's the way I see it. That's the way I see it. It's a Hasbro move. Oh, Aaron Archer's in the house. What up, Aaron? But yeah. Stinkfist69, what's up, Proto? Have you heard anything new about the new TF movie? Nothing yet. Well, everything's going on in Peru right now. I think they're finishing up pretty much photography and everything, like basic photography. When the movie is pretty much at its end is when they're doing soundtracks and voice acting. Those are usually the last two things that are done before it goes to the end of it. So the fact that we haven't heard anything about soundtrack or voice acting yet, they're probably still filming stuff, B footage, extra reshoots. Who knows? That's, it's not in Montreal anymore, so it's as far away from me as it could be. We're relying on the hardcore Peru fans to keep us in the know on everything that's going on. The Ponsky with the super chat for $4.99. Have you considered making dioramas for collections instead of just having them all lined up? Brother, let me tell you something. If I did dioramas instead of lining things up, I would have no space. I have to do it this way. I have to. I have no space. It's all of this wall. It's all of that wall. It's all of this wall. It's all of this wall. When you have as many Transformers as I have, like, the numbers are insane. You can't be cute. You can't. I remember when I started collecting Creo, I was like, oh, I'm going to do like this really cool Creo display with an Autobot base and everything. I was like, no, it can't be done. Creo alone. Look at all of that. Look how much space Creo takes. Look at all that stuff. It's madness. Come on, camera. Don't fail on me now. There we go. So it's something that I wish I could. You know what? When I win $1 billion, not even $1 million, $1 million won't be enough. When I win $1 billion, I'll get a gigantic mansion. I'll dedicate it only to Transformers. We'll do the podcast 24/7. I'll do streams every single day until the day you get bored of me. And then we'll have beautiful displays. Like G1 1984 will just be a giant display, and then G1 now, it's like I have to fit it by year and faction. When anyone who is a completist in any hobby, you start to see that space becomes a premium. And I mean, with Kingdom, you start going like, man, where do I put all the figures? I got to start planning stuff. It's tough. I think I did a podcast. I think it was a Patreon question that was something about that, about like, displaying how to maximize your space, and people who use DTOFs. Like, I have a few DTOFs in this house, but I hate them. But when you're doing displays in the center of a room where you can't do like custom glass displays, you need DTOFs, because it's hard to do stuff from scratch in the center of a room, because when you do stuff in the center of a room, you don't really want to hardwire it to a wall. So it's tough to do those. So DTOFs are usually easier. They're slightly cheaper if you could get them on sale from IKEA. If you do what's called the half and half trick, which is you get some plexiglass and some tie rods, and you could kind of like, 50% each space of a DTOF. So you get like 6 inches and 6 inches instead of the 13 in total. So you could kind of maximize your display space with DTOFs. But I think DTOFs in general, while they're clean, they're nice, they're cheap, they're kind of space wasters in my opinion in a lot of ways. Unless it's the center of a room, which my collection, they're used in the center, because that's the only purpose they serve, really. Downright Superb wants to know, Proto, if you had to get rid of one of your main lines, what would you sacrifice? Main line? Because I could tell you some sublines I'd get rid of that take a lot of space, and it's just like, ugh. Something. I'll tell you the subline. Bot shots. Bot shots takes so much space, and I just go, sometimes I look at it and go, can I just like put it on the roof? You know how much all the space that bot shots is taking could be like the entire run of Earthrise. It's sad how much bot shots they put out, and how many of them I bought because I thought they were so cool at the time. All the weird color schemes that they had. Mainline though, I don't know. Movie, anything that was within the bubble of movie 2007. If I got rid of movie 2007 stuff, you're talking no joke, probably the equivalency of like 200 figures. Because movie 2007, which ended in like, early 2009, movie 2007 has Fast Action Battlers, Robot Replicas, it had the Unleashed line, it had the movie battle scene collection, it has the fast food promotion connections, it has, the real gear stuff, which was crazy. That was all a collection in itself. All the weird promotional items, which there was, ice cream, there was like a Dairy Queen did like a Transformer the movie cake, and it had 2 exclusive figures that were sold on that would be on the cake, and it actually transforms and everything. I have the transforming Optimus. The Bumblebee has eluded me throughout these years, but someone had the Optimus Prime one that ended up in a garage sale because some kid got a Wendy's cake. I don't know how much that cake was, but I'd say movie 2007, just because the amount of space that it would free up if movie 2007 disappeared would give me enough space to collect Transformers for like another 3 years, like nonstop of getting everything. Stinkfist69, you said you went grocery shopping earlier. Did you notice a price hike? No, not really. I went to an Asian grocery store, which always has a price hike anyways. My local stomping ground for a lot of my food is Asian grocery stores because it's slightly cheaper, and it's kind of my taste of stuff that I like to buy that's a little healthier, a little more vegetable oriented. I'm not a vegan. I love meat, love bacon. But, when you want to do stuff like, sukiyaki, Japanese sukiyaki, or when, I'm probably going to make Japanese curry, which is carrots and carbs and potatoes and stuff like that, and onions. Asian supermarket, number one, man. Number one. Every time. Love it. You want to find me food shopping? I'm at an Asian supermarket. Have you ever thought about thinning out your collection? Never. I'm probably the last guy on the planet that'll ever... I get rid of stuff. but I get rid of stuff I already have. Like if I have doubles, but I never get rid of anything I have. Whenever a figure comes into my, like even a figure, like to give an example, right? I had no intention ever of when this toy was brand new. I had no intention of ever picking up this Bumblebee ever, because I was like, okay, the deluxe first edition is perfectly fine. What do I need this for? I had no intention of ever tracking this down or paying any kind of money for it. Then it falls into my lap because of my pops, and then I go, well, I don't have this figure, so I guess I'm going to keep it. That's kind of how I am, where it's like if I don't have it, I'll keep it. If I have a double of it or whatever, I sell it. I don't hoard figures. Anyone who's been to my parts parties, they see how crazy those parts parties are. But I never thin out my collection. I don't think ever in my life have I bought something that I really wanted or bought something that I wanted and then got rid of it later. I don't think I've ever done that with anything, because I know what I like and I know what I don't like. And as someone who runs conventions and buys and sells all the time, it's not like I don't have the opportunities to sell. Like if I ever wanted to sell, it'd be quite easy, really. And it would be probably the craziest a number of tables at any convention. But I would never thin it out. I love Transformers way too much. And to me, I love being able to go, we're going to talk about Swerve today. And I could pull like every Swerve figure through Transformers history and do some nice photo shoots and stuff on Instagram. Like if you look on my Insta, it's all about like, sets and completism and stuff like that. So I don't think I'd ever thin out. The only thing that's thinning out is my hair. That's probably about it. So I just got the ARC today and love the ship mode. This is Tom Laney, by the way, with the YouTube membership. So I just got the ARC today. Love the ship mode. The robot mode is eh. Yeah, I know a lot of people are saying that about the hollowness. I don't like the transformation. I think they could have done much more with but the plastic feels cheap though. Yeah, that I haven't gotten the ARC yet, but everyone's telling me how it really suffers from MABS plastic, which is that thinner kind of recycled plastic. It's very hollow, but I think that's probably how they were able to justify having that little internal kind of base mode with not Brainstorm, with Mainframe, that little internal thing with Mainframe, having the little Optimus Slug, the little gimmicks going on. I think that they were trying to balance the budget in a way that this could be on shelves for a similar MSRP and not have to cut too many things. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, stuff did have to get cut, and that was plastic quality and making the toy a little more hollower and less, It's hilarious because you look at say Triptychon or Fortress Maximus, which were much more heavier figures, and now we're kind of getting away from that era of the Titan classes. It's becoming much more lighter and stuff like that. I mean, let's not even talk about the original Fortress Maximuses. Those things are probably still to this day some of the heaviest Transformers if you don't count Unicron. So, Media Max. Proto, why is Prowl alive in Headmasters? Because Japan didn't get the memo and they didn't get the 86 movie in theaters in 1986. Thus, when 1987 rolled around for the Headmasters cartoon, the people who worked on it did not know that Prowl died in the movie, and thus he appeared in that. It's the same reason why Wheeljack is in Transformers Victory. Because they didn't know that he was lying on the ground taking a nap in the 86 movie. That's the long-term, short-term answer. Of course, Sakamoto and the Transformers Alternators Binaltech toy line tried to explain the story of Prowl and Prowl 2 and, make sense of that continuity error. But behind the scenes, real talk just never happened. Proto, will we ever get Road Caesar? Oh, man, I hope... Oh, Zachary with the super chat, by the way. Zachary with the $3 super chat. Proto, will we ever get Road Caesar? I hope so. I mean, Road Caesar, God, we could barely even see him on the Victory. There's so much that's covered from this pillar here, from this angle. Road Caesar is one of my favorite combiner teams of all time, if not my favorite combiner team, just because those individual members also have a lot of personality on top of that. Blacker, Laster, and Braver. Even the third-party one of Road Caesar is freaking incredible. I remember when One of my roommates, shout out to Ultra Maverick at every BlockCon and TFCon I've gone to, John. He picked up the pieces of it, and it was the sex, to say the least. It looks amazing. I hope we get Road Caesar. The only problem with Road Caesar is he's a 3-piece combiner in a very awkward way, and outside of doing like a, I don't know, like doing like a Motivators UK repaint, there's not really much you could do with those toys afterwards from a combiner gimmick. So it's a real tough one to do, unless they're really creative. Unless I'm missing something, it'd be a tough one. It'd be a real tough one. And to me, I just feel that you're just kind of better off hoping that we get, I don't know, a masterpiece, like something that's more higher end. Because if they do it in retail, or HasLab could kind of fall into that also. Because I would love Road Caesar, don't get me wrong, but it's just so much easier to do some of those Scramble City combiners instead, because there's so much more caked in stuff you could repaint and retool afterwards. I mean, look at the previous Combiner War stuff and how much they milked those molds to death. We got Beast Wars characters out of those Combiner Wars G1 molds. Need I say more? Need I say more? Look, when we got that Power of the Primes Jazz, I honestly thought that was the beginning of something maybe for like Road Caesar pieces, but that was not to be, unfortunately. Proto, if you had to choose between your collection or your girlfriend, which would it be? In the past, I did choose a girl over Transformers. One of my exes, and I'm not going to say her name because I don't want her to make her look bad. One of my exes was not a fan of me being a toy collector. And I said, screw that. When I found out that, like, because, she knew I collected, she saw the room, and she, from the early months of dating, she tolerated it and everything. Then when Robots in Disguise came out, which right away dates me, yeah, that was like 20 years ago, she was like, really? You spent $12 on this? And in my mind, I'm like, man, if she's complaining about $12 on a piece of plastic, honey, you in trouble. Because it's about to get crazy. So, depending on the person, if it's a really good girlfriend, yes. But I will say this, guys, and I know this sounds crazy, your hobby is your foundation. There's been studies that show that people who have hobbies live longer, they're happier, they have purpose in life, they feel good about themselves, and anyone who tries to take away your hobby from you, your hobby's been with you your whole life, and then someone just comes in and tries to take it away, that's not someone that's good for your life. The movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, I found that there was kind of mixed messages going on in that, where he was a toy collector, and then someone just comes into his life and he just gets rid of everything to open up a computer store, which I'm sure that must have worked out with him in the long run, getting rid of all his rare toys so he could open up a computer store that probably would have been dead today in this modern day and age where Future Shop and everything is going out of business and everything, and Radio Shack. So Steve Carell's character is not a happy ending if there's a sequel to 40-Year-Old Virgin. That actually caught up with him. Always favor your hobby. Find someone that respects your hobby. That's, there's tons of people in the world, millions of people. There's got to be someone that's going to respect you for what you like. That's the advice I'll always give. Don't be that guy who is on the buy-sell trade forums selling his collection because he got into a relationship and that person's making him get rid of everything. I know that guy. I know multiples of those guys, and those guys got huge chunks of their collection they got rid of to make someone else happy. They broke up with that person, and then they spend their entire lives trying to get everything back. What a fucking idiot. And I'm going to say that. Rob, that's one of you. Dummy. Anyway, sorry for that, but just to say that. Thank you for the question. The heated question. We got a gold super chat from Soup99. What's up, Soup? Thank you for the gold super chat. Transformers. Yo, Proto. I've never found that special Transformer character to collect. Everyone I know has that character to them, and I've never been able to decide. How should I go about picking it? Usually I find with people who have favorite characters, Like, you know, everyone, all my buddies have that one character. You know, like there's the guy who loves tracks, the guy who loves, you know, Astro Train, the guy who loves jazz, Wendell. It's most of the time when you ask those people why it's your favorite character, it's always a mixture of relatability, but a strong dose of nostalgia also kind of falls into that too. Sometimes just your favorite color in a lot of ways. I mean, it's no surprise that some of my favorite characters in a lot of different properties, not all, but in a lot, you know, I love the color red and yellow, and a lot of my favorite characters sport those kind of colors, including my namesake, you know. But I think it's really, you know, like, what was your first Transformer series? You know? Oh, if it was Beast Wars or animated, and then kind of isolate it from there. Who was your favorite character in that series? You know, did that character speak to you? Is that character cool? Does he have cool toys? You know, like, it's something where that's kind of how you find that, you know? Like, I remember, like, when Beast Wars used to play on YTV in Canada, Beast Wars used to play every single day, Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock p.m. This is when it had already run its course. It was already in syndication. They had the full 3 seasons that they could just play it in loop indefinitely. And I remember I just watched Beast Wars from beginning to end, watching these episodes hundreds of times over and over, and just going like, man, these characters are amazing. Beast Wars, you know, Megatron and Dinobot and Cheetor and Rat Trap, all these characters are great. Primal is awesome. You know, Tigatron has his moments. Black Arachnia is super cool. Silverbolt is awesome. Waspinator is great. So you end up falling in love with those characters, and then you figure it out from there. You kind of like break it down to who you think is the best of the best in your mind, you know? I hope that kind of helps in a one way. I mean, look, my boy, my number one boy, Hot Rod, you know, my number one boy, 50% nostalgia. The first emotional moments of watching anything Transformers, which was the 86 movie, and seeing Hot Rod, and, you know, wow, that character is so cool. If you're gonna ride, Dano, ride in style, and then, you know, revving of the engine, you know, oversteering, handbrake his drift into a straight line, revving the V6 engine that he has, or technically a V8, depending on if you're talking the toy version. That hits here, you know. But then, you know, everyone's like, well, you're a Beast Wars guy, so how do you love a G1 dude? Because it was my first, you know, like I love G1, I love Beast Wars. There's a lot of Transformers. I love Master Force, I love Galaxy Force, 2 great Transformer series, animated, all of great stuff. Hope that helps. Hope that helps a little bit. I'm pretty sure other people in the chat could vouch for their own favorites. Downright superb. Proto, how do you think the new Stunticon combiners will be retooled and repurposed? G2 color scheme, that'll be the first one. And then those individual members, because they don't have a glaring, like, combiner peg on them, that opens up all kinds of stuff now. Now you don't have, like, here's a drag strip, and now here's a Mirage from this drag strip that has a combiner peg on it. Now you could take a drag strip, you could repaint it, retool it, like heavily retool it, and you can make Slapdash. You can make Counter Arrow. You can make, again, Mirage. You could make Red Mirage or Ligier or whatever you want to call them. You could make Heatwave, you know, Formula 1 Heatwave. So, or Leadfoot. Even Leadfoot you could do. So there's so many Formula 1 characters you could do, and now it's not tied to being a combiner anymore. It doesn't have a glaring combiner port or an extra fist, you know, combiner fist that has to be gang molded into it every time. So now you have to explain what's this giant fist that turns into like a rocket launcher, so, or like a giant fist or a giant foot that turns into a gun. So the second you phase out that reliance on combiner pieces, the individual characters could shine a lot more and not have to be part of a gimmick. And I think that's part of their goal, was they're going to be like, look, we're going to do a whole bunch of cars, because that's what it's going to be. Lamborghini, a Ferrari, a Porsche, and a Formula 1. Those are 4 cars, the Stunticons. Lambos, those are all the, you know, all the Lamborghini brothers, whether it be Sideswipe, Sideswipe, and Yeah, Sideswipe and Sunstreaker. Sorry, I'm tired today. Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, and some other obscure characters. Some of the spy changers were Lambos. Then when you're talking Ferraris, you're talking Overdrive. You're talking all those kind of weird cars too. Although they won't be licensed, but they have that flavor. Formula Ones I just mentioned. Porsches, well, mind you, the Porsche that Dead End is a much older Porsche with the flat. I think it's the Porsche 87. I want to say no, it's not the 87. It's the 85 flat headlight design, but with the hatch. The point is that they'll figure out some Porsche characters you could do with that. Obviously, you retool it enough, and you could get a Nightbeat, you could get another Jazz out of it and stuff like that. So that's one way to look at it. I'm sure they'll figure out something. And same thing, the only problem is now the centerpiece, Menasor. Well, how many times have our commander classes been repainted or retooled? Jetfire, just the black repaint for Shattered Glass. Nothing with Skyfire yet. Nothing with Skylynx yet, excuse me. And nothing with Rodimus yet, which I'm surprised with Rodimus because there's a lot of built-in repaints there. So to even think about Motormaster this far out it's too early, to say the least. Too early. Princeton Phalanx 59. I have a wonderful and beautiful wife, and that does not mind my collection. And that's how it should be, my friend, because it is our foundation of our happiness. It really is. Look, having a happy wife and having a happy, girlfriend or whatever is important too, but don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short of being happy, because look, don't be that guy that makes their entire life around another human being, because that person could leave and then you're going to be a shell of a human being with no Transformer toys anymore. I always say, as long as your hobby isn't hurting you, what do they mind then? There's so much worse things you could be doing in your life, with your money. Trust me, plastic is not the worst thing. If ever it got to the point where you want to get out, look at all that money that you're going to get, that equity that you put into it. You might not get all your money back. Who knows? You might make some profit here. You might lose some money there. Certain movie toys might have gone down, but certain toys have gone up since you purchased them. But it's one of those hobbies where it doesn't hurt you, where smoking, drinking, drugs, even consuming them on the negative aspect of it, but after you consume it, you don't get the money back. It's gone. So there's worse hobbies to have, let me tell you. There's worse hobbies to have. Stinkfist69 with the membership question, YouTube membership. Hey Proto, what's your thoughts on the new G.I. Joe classified figure Crocmaster? I have not seen it yet. I did see the Alley Viper though, which was super sexy. The Alley Viper as a kid I always loved because he had that face piece that went up and it had like a blue mask under, and I used to think it was like Cobra Commander in disguise, like he was hiding out among his troops, like, hey guys, how you doing? Hey, Cobra Commander sucks, eh? But the Alley Viper looks really cool. I saw a listing where we're going to be getting a Dusty. Dusty is without a doubt my favorite G.I. Joe character. The fact that we're getting a Dusty figure, I am super hyped. I hope that they lean really heavily on how he looked as a toy, because I loved his toy design. And then Super 7 with their Ultimates line could do a really cartoon accurate one if they ever get around to that. So that way, like, I don't want him to make it look like the cartoon too much, because I know Super 7 is going to do something later and it's going to be amazing, and it could be that. So I want them to lean on something that's more toy accurate, and he'll be hype. He'll be so cool. And if he comes with Sandstorm, which is an easy trademark, hey Hasbro, you're not doing anything with the Sandstorm trademark? You got a little coyote you could include with Dusty named Sandstorm. Include Sandstorm with him. It'll be amazing. Have the little thing that covers the back of his head for the desert. Super hype. Really would like that a lot. I forgot what I was going to say too. Is that all the stuff I brought to show you guys? I think it was it. So I want to say again, big shout out to Timmy for hooking me up with these dudes. This is pretty awesome. I can't wait. I'm going to be so scared to do a photo shoot with this with the actual gold plastic Grimlock. Oh my god, it's gonna be nuts. It's gonna be nuts. TFG1 Mike Blanchette recorded with Jaws D today. It's been so long. Hey, Mike, you did the I guess it's the Transformer profile thing, eh? That's awesome. I wonder how that did it. How long was it? Did it turn out good? Did Jaws D say terrible things about me? That Proto Man's a phony. He doesn't even like Transformers. All of this is all a green screen. All of this is a green screen. This isn't even real. None of this is real. Look. It's not even real. None of these toys are real. This is all a green screen. Oh, that's pretty hype. I can't wait to hear it. Can't wait to hear it. To have Wendell featured. Wendell featured for the Transformer fandom. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Collector Prime with the super chat. Good evening. With the Legacy line covering multiple generations, do you think we could get a new God Jinrai or Goto Jinrai or Power Master Optimus Prime? Well, not for so here's the thing. So the next year, 2022 and early 2023 is going to be Transformers Legacy, whatever that emblem is. We know everything that's going to be part of that emblem, of that name, of that brand, sub-brand. Maybe something afterwards. Whatever comes after Legacy, it's a possibility. Because when we had Titan's Return, we ended up getting a Power Master Optimus Prime, and we ended up getting a Jinrai as a result of that molding. They had the slot, they had the budget, it made sense. Little Power Masters, little Headmasters, little Titan Masters. It worked. Those little Titan Masters kind of like fit every single niche that it needed to fit. Where it's like, hey, you need to be a Headmaster, it could be a Headmaster. You need to be a Power Master, it could be a Power Master. You need to be a Pretender Shell, it could be a Pretender Shell. You know, like little Pretender guy. So those ones, you know, the way that I see it is, I could see those characters coming back for sure, but not for Legacy. Whatever's going to come after Legacy, because we have the full list. I don't have it queued up. Otherwise, I'd post it for you guys so you could see everything. But we do know that something is coming. We do know that something will come at some point. They'll revisit that mold. Actually, in my opinion, I think that we might even get Super Ginrai, Power Master Optimus Prime as a masterpiece at some point. I almost feel like I think he's due at some point. But then again, maybe the success of Victory Saber might lead to a HasLab, you know, Apex Armor Optimus Prime, aka God Jinrai. Who knows? Who knows? It might even be something on the side completely. People might not like that because of the upsell of the price that'll be on it. You know, I think that people rather pay for like 2 liter classes than the HasLab price. But we'll see what happens. We will see. And I love Jinrai. Master Force is one of my favorite Transformer series. So to get the cool Jinrai with a little Power Master that actually looks like him, that'd be really cool. As opposed to the Kotobukiya figure. That's about all we got in terms of like really looking like him. Media Max Proto. What would make you stop collecting new figures? Is there a price or quality that you won't cross? Well, it used to be that I bought everything. No joke. I was a completist. I bought everything. I mean like everything. Everything. Nothing. Pinball machines. Everything of Transformers I would buy. And then I started seeing how, you know, I make very good money with the job that I have. And even with the good, like, you know, when I was a completist at Burger King, I was doing just fine. And then here I am working as a mechanic for BMW. And then all of a sudden, like, it was getting really pricey. And I was going like, what? Because the prices grew that even my higher pay didn't make sense with it. It was like, I'm having just as much money as I did when I was making minimum wage, you know, flipping Whoppers. You know, actually I was working the drive-thru, but so to me, it's like price is what made me not skip stuff, but kind of hold back. Because the second thing is I know how the Transformer world is. I know how the fandom is. I know how the toys are in terms of like people buy stuff and then sell. I saw that when I was being a completist and going like, oh wow, like I could get most of Energon for pennies on the dollar. Okay. You know, obviously there's gonna be one or two or three characters that are ridiculously expensive, but in general, no one's, you know, busting the door down for an Energon Prowl. So I could, and by Energon Prowl I mean like the Unicron trilogy one. So like if I could get him for like $4 as a complete, as opposed to like, you know, when I bought him MSRP back then on my Burger King paycheck for $12.99, you know, it's today I go, you know what, I pass up on a lot of figures because I know I'll be able to get them later at some point at a cheaper. Yeah, there's going to be the few that slip through the cracks and will be ridiculously expensive, but in general it has been working out, and I have the opportunities of going to conventions. I'm lucky that when the world opens up again, obviously that's not the case right now, but when the world opens up again, being able to go to TF cons, BotCons, and all the other cons and seeing all that product there, a lot of times ridiculously cheap, and when it's a parts party, and when it's a charity auction, and when it's all kinds of stuff like that, I jump on it, you know? Like, look, this dude would have been MSRP. God, what was he? He must have been like a Voyager class to a leader class. Probably, I'd have to pull up my I have like a chart. Probably $49.99 or $39.99. But he was purchased for $5. You know, so it to me, sooner or later it all comes back. I'm a very patient guy when it comes to collecting. I don't need to have it now, you know, unless it's like certain characters. You know, some guys I want to get, but in general, it's like I'm not gonna pay this overpriced to get this one character. I'm willing to wait, and so I don't really skip stuff. It's just I kind of wait on them. You know, it's not like, oh, I'm skipping that character. It's I'm long term waiting for it. I'm gonna skip that character, but within the next 10 years, he might just come to me naturally. Let's put it that way. And prices, well, the prices are getting crazy now. It really is. I think we're going to hit a point where there's going to be a very strong separation between like mainline stuff like Cyberverse and Rescue Bots and everything, and the collector market. It's going to get pretty crazy because the prices, I think, are going to get bigger and bigger in one side and going to have to stay consistent for the kids on the other. If that makes sense to you, if you know what I mean. How long in Trevor Stasic with the super chat. How long until we see Transformers NFTs? Is it a good investment or just a waste? I was surprised Power Rangers got one first. Thanks for all you do. Thank you, Trevor, for the super chat and for the kind words. I pray that Transformers never has NFTs. They're not good for the environment. I think it's stupid. If you're like, and the way that they did it with Power Rangers, it's like, hey, you want to buy, like, if you want to buy the, like, you buy this NFT of the black repaint of the Megazord, like, and it's an NFT of it, and then like you could use it to cash in an actual Megazord later, a black. So to me, it's just like, it's like a pre-order. But here's the thing: NFTs also have this aspect of investment, right? So if you have an NFT, and it's like, okay, I have the in the normal NFT world, for people who don't understand, like, so I have this NFT that's an image of Hot Rod, right? And it's just that, it's just the logic is, well, maybe its value will increase over time, and then I could sell it for a profit, or I have it on my phone to show I own a piece of this NFT or something. But then you create this weird thing that Hasbro did, where it's like, but then you could take this NFT and then trade it in for the actual product that the NFT is based on. But then how many people are going to trade in for that Megazord? Probably everybody. And then who's going to care about that actual NFT? Not to mention, how long is Hasbro going to honor the trade-in for that item? Now, with the Power Ranger one, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's only a small window that they're going to give people an opportunity to do that. So then they're going to be put in a position where it's like, do I want to think about the investment potential of the NFT or just get the toy? We're toy collectors. We're not buying toys to think about 5 years later it going up in value. The NFT idea being used on the toy market is stupid because of the mentality of how toy collectors are. Card collectors with NFTs, I understand that. They crack a pack, they get something rare, they put it in a sleeve, they put it in this, then they get it graded, and then they hope that one day it goes up in value so they can make money. Toy collectors, they get the figure, they rip it out of the package, they throw out the package, they mess with the figure, they lose the instructions, they don't care. It's far from Gem Mint 10 CGC graded. So, two different markets. I think they did it with Power Rangers first because it's something where they want to take a risk with a brand that if it doesn't go well, it doesn't hurt that brand very well. Where if they would have done, okay, we're going to do an NFT Optimus Prime Earthrise, and you could get this black and gold black repaint with the NFT version, I think that would piss off a lot of Transformer fans. So doing it with Power Rangers was a little safe, I guess is the best way to put it. And that decision was made because I think of the different fandoms that exist between the two. But I think NFTs and toys is a bad idea. I think that companies are not realizing how different toy collectors are from trading card and comic book collectors. There's less of a speculator market in the toy world than there is in the trading card and comic book world. People don't really I do Transformer finance videos, but it's for such a small segment of the audience that are looking to get rid of their collections so they can make money, or if they don't like a toy that they have, they can make money. It's not really me going oh, hey, you better invest in that Battle in Space Grimlock because in 5 years from now, it's going to be worth big money. No, in our world, what happens is a better version comes around later and this thing becomes worth nothing. Where you don't have a better version of a hockey card comes out or a baseball card of a guy's rookie card and it tanks the value. It doesn't work like that. When I have this conversation, I constantly talk about that whole digital currency and digital world. It's such a deep discussion, and I don't want to go too deep into it because then we're going to be here all day, and I want to use the last half hour to talk about Transformer toys. But it's not going to work out in the long run with the toy world. It just, the community and how we're wired, it won't work for that. And I just see that just from the investment part. There was a guy that showed up to TFCon 2012. Was it 2012? TFCon Chicago, USA. He had a whole table just of graded G1 stuff. Motherfucker didn't do well at all. Because you know what? We buy it, we open it, we enjoy it. There's such a small segment that actually buys to speculate and have mint in box that it's not enough to make it something that you're going to make money from. Where the card collecting world is literally 90% people speculating, collecting, and this is worth money, that is worth, get a rare pull out of a Magic the Gathering pack over and over, it's a whole different world. And coming from both of those worlds and seeing the comparisons, Magic could have NFT, which is a Hasbro brand. Transformers, you want to pee off a lot of people? That's where you're going to go. But I hope that answers your question. I hope that answers your question, Trevor. Tom Laney with the YouTube member question. I saw your video on Randy and gold plastic, felt bad about breaking it, but oh my God, that was funny stuff to react. It was real. Bro, when I did that video, no joke, I was sweating because I had two of them I had one for years. I bought it at a BotCon and I told myself I was not going to open it until I got a second one. And then I would compare the two, and the one that had the nicer box I'd keep and that. And then at the time, Big Bad Toy Store was one of my sponsors, so they sent me one because they wanted me to open one. And so they sent me one, and my God, it was like you can literally see, I'm like, ooh boy. I transformed it perfectly, and then I put the stupid gun in the peg, destroyed the fist, and he sits in my collection now. I crazy glued the fist, the gun is chilling in the back, and that is without a doubt probably him and there's a Firefly Slingshot, the gold plastic G2 aerial bot, I think it's Slingshot, are two of the most fragile Transformers ever made. I'll put Electro in there too because transforming him is pretty difficult. And G2, G2 Grimlock also. They're all terrible. They're all terrible. They should never do that. I remember my Legend scale movie Scorponok. transforming him out of the package after having him sealed for like 5 years, and his tail just shattered into a million pieces. I was like, oh, that's just great. That's just fantastic. Oh, and then all those Star Wars ones that had GPS on them too, the Star Wars crossovers. Alejandro, I haven't seen you in a while, Alejandro. Alejandro with the super chat. Awesomeness. Great advice. Patience is a master Jedi. Good to see you again, Proto, and thanks for everything. What are the chances of Leo Convoy or Big Convoy in the main line? First part to cover. Yeah, patience is ridiculously important. Everyone gets screwed over financially because of lack of patience. So many people I know, it's like, I want it. And there's guys on the side going, oh, do you now? And they hear that. And they go, well, I was going to sell it for 40, but since you want it so much, how about 60? Oh, okay, sure, whatever. And then time passes and that figure's $20. It happens. I understand that there is exceptions to the rule, but there's too many that are not that case, that really dip in value. So patience is key. Patience really is key. And if you say that, oh, if I wait, then I'm not going to want it later, then you probably never wanted it at all. You're better off waiting. If it's something that you were willing to wait 5 years and you still would buy it if the opportunity comes, then you really wanted it. But if it's something where it's like you waited 6 months because you were trying to be patient, then you lost interest, then thank goodness you didn't buy it at all, because it would have been a big waste. Going to your Lio Convoy and Big Convoy question, yes, I think they're going to happen at some point. Lio Prime was a trademark with Hasbro at one point, and I felt like part of it happened because of what was going on with Fun Publications at the time, because they were doing Big Convoy stuff, they were doing Lio Prime stuff, and so Hasbro's like, oh, well, this trademark exists, so kind of let's do stuff together. I think that when the Beast Wars well starts to get a little dry of key characters, and look, there's not a lot of key show characters. It's a very small crew that you could literally get done with a couple Voyager and Deluxe releases. And then, of course, obviously the Transmetal and Transmetal 2 and Fusor variations of those characters. But at the end of the day, after you kind of go through those characters and their repaints, then you'll start falling into the non-show characters, which coincidentally cross over with some of the Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo characters. And then, of course, the non-show character toys in the West that also were exclusive characters in the East. I could see Big Convoy. I think Big Convoy would be freaking fantastic. I think Big Convoy is easily one of the best Beast Wars vintage toys ever made. I still think that still to this day. So much going on with that toy. If you don't have the original Big Convoy, you're doing yourself a disservice of understanding a key piece of Transformers history in terms of engineering, design. The first Transformer to have like technically a removable matrix that could be held. That was a big deal. Now it's Tuesday, but get Big Convoy. He has his original release. He has his Korean release, which is exactly the same like the original release, but slightly cheaper with a huge box, so the shipping might screw you. You have the reissue. You have the reissue with show-accurate colors. So you already have 4 different versions kicking around. And then when you open it up to repaints, you have, the white repaint, which is, the Ultra Mammoth. You have the big black Convoy. You have the blue Lucky Draw. You have the Bloody Tusks over there, which was Nemesis Prime. So you have so many different ways to get that mold, and they're all fantastic. All of them are fantastic, except the Lucky Draw, because it would probably cost you an arm and a leg. And I don't expect you to spend $700 on a Lucky Draw, but great toy. Can't say enough about it. And thank you, Alejandro, for coming back, my friend. Orlando Chavez with the YouTube member super chat question. I've been looking into getting the Tycho Transformer train set. Just curious about your thoughts on it. I've owned that set on three different occasions, making complete ones. I think it's a really cool set. It's very unique. It has a funny history, because when you go into, I have it in the other room, mint in box. I have the huge one. I always want to have it on display one day. When you look at like Tycho, because they did a G.I. Joe one, they did a Transformer one, and they had very similar kind of gimmicks, where they had these like transforming kind of trains to justify the brand that it was attached with. and the little robots that come with. And that's the part where you're going to have the biggest problem is you might have the train track. You might have the train playmats. You might have all the little cardboard stuff that you could put on display too. That's going to be tough to get to in good condition. But the little robots, there's these little non-generic robots that still to this day I have no idea where they found those designs from. If they're original designs, if they came from some other like Korean toy line that were just kind of, molded in one color or two colors. I have a Twitter post where I showed my my Transformers Tycho set. But of the two, of the Tycho racing set and the train set is superior in every way. It's so cool. It's so unique and fun, and I think if you could get it, because I feel that it's one of those things that as time progresses, it's going to be more difficult to find complete because so many little pieces and everything get lost on that. All the little drivers and not the drivers, the little robots. So if you could find one, honestly, and I'll be honest with you, a complete one, if you could get it for $150 or less, that's some good stuff. 175, 200, maybe you're pushing it a little bit, but 150 is quite reasonable. Because I sold one, I want to say, and it was almost 100% complete. I think I sold it for like 125. There's probably an old post on one of the old Transformer forums where I sold my extra one that I got from a guy. So, and it was in pretty good shape too. So, then there's two different instructions that come with it because you have the traditional Tycho train set HO instructions and then the actual one exclusive for the Transformer stuff. It's a tough one to kind of track down everything, but if you do have it complete, I guarantee you'll be very happy with what you get. I'm sure for that. And thank you for the question. Princeton with the super chat question. Princeton wants to know, thanks Proto. Now collecting dolls, just oh no. Thanks, Proto. Now collecting dolls. Just bought the LOL Surprise Winter Disco Crystal set just to get that display. I'm so sorry, Princeton. But you know what, though? Look, I'll be honest with you. I mean, I didn't think this was going to be only $15, though. Look how cool that is. Isn't that? Look at that's like amazing. That is so cool. Like imagine you get your Tigatron figure and you put it on there. That is so cool. But what was it? I forget who it was. It was someone on Twitter. They had, and I have it too. I bought it in my collection also. I think was it LOL Surprise or was something. It was a car that had a super 80s vibe to it with like blue chrome and everything. I forget who did that post. And they said what the car was, and it was on sale at Toys R Us in Canada, and I bought it just for the car, and I've yet to take pictures with it. Now I'm going to probably take pictures with it now that you've reminded me. I want to have like Hot Rod with the shades down, leaning out of the side of the car like, hey, how you doing? And that was another one too that's like, there's weird, sometimes you have products that are not Transformer related, but they fit well in your Transformer collection. Aaron Archer's here in the chat. When the Angry Archer made his debut in animated, a lot of people went out of their way and they bought the Batman. What was the Batman? Batman Brave and the Bold SD. There was like a little figure of what's his name there, Green Arrow, and because of the squashed like proportions and everything, it looked like the Angry Archer. So a lot of people bought that Brave and the Bold Batman Green Arrow figure, the tiny one, to put with their animated collection because it was their Angry Archer figure. So you have weird crossover stuff like that. Sometimes certain things in other lines work well with your Transformer line. And display stuff is, especially with our photography and stop motion and a lot of the fans that do that, display stuff is very important to Transformer fans. Very, very important. And I apologize for making you spend $15. But I mean, again, if you sell the doll, maybe you could get... Hey, if you could sell the doll for $15 afterwards... then hey, it's a free display stand. then you got a better deal than I did. Downright superb. Proto, what are the chances of a Star Trek Transformers crossover? Probably at some point they'll visit it. I'm surprised they didn't try to make product during the comic book crossover, because I mean, look, when we had the Transformers crossover with Back to the Future, IDW was doing a comic at the time. When we had the what do you call it? The Ghostbuster one. we got some comic books. And when we had the Star Trek one, we got 0. I was surprised that we didn't even get like, even like a deluxe class Enterprise or something, just like a one-off. But here's the thing. If I remember correctly, when the Star Trek reboot movies came out, Hasbro had the license to do the toys then. I don't know if Hasbro still has the master toy license now. So that would someone could answer that for me, and that'll definitely help you know if that would happen in the future. It would definitely put it in the right direction. Let's put it that way. But it's something where I'm surprised they didn't do it when the right opportunity was there with the IDW comics. So we'll see what happens, but I can't see it happening anytime soon, because it would make more sense if there's something to cross, unless the IDW does a part 2 of the comics or something, and and have, I don't know, like a Klingon ship that transforms into Soundwave or something. Actually, no, a Klingon ship they cloak, so it would technically not. It would be like Mirage, but whatever. You know what I mean. I'm not a big Star Trek fan, but I know this and that. So I hope that helps a little bit. I don't know. Detective Ferret with the super chat. Thank you, Detective Ferret. How does Hasbro, Takara Tomy pick what characters become masterpieces? A little bit of column A of fan demand in the Japanese side. A little bit of column B, the internal design team having an idea that they want. So like something like Skids. Skids was not example of the fans going, we want masterpiece Skids. It was more of them going like, oh, the Honda City Turbo, the Honda City, very famous, popular, middle class car in Japan. Its 30th anniversary is coming up. Why don't we, 40th anniversary. Bite my tongue. 40th anniversary is coming up. Why don't we celebrate something with that and do that with Transformers? And they create that partnership. And then you have stuff that just makes sense because it's what fans would want. Everyone's been asking after they did that first Bumblebee masterpiece, when's the next mini-bot masterpiece? Who is it going to be? Was it going to be Huffer? Was it going to be Brawn? I would have preferred Brawn maybe. Is it going to be Cliffjumper? So obviously we finally got that demand, and that's being met. And then sometimes it's just, it's opportunity, because sometimes it's designs that are tied to a car license, and that car license is willing to, to dance now, but they weren't willing to dance before that. Jazz being the best example, or some of the Formula One guys because of all the trademarks and everything on it. So you have a lot of those things. And Wheeljack too with Lancia would probably be a bit of a headache. But, that changed when Lancia was willing to do business. And then when they went and did Exhaust with all his Marlboro kind of stuff, then that became a problem with the masterpiece. So it's opportunity. Fan demand is a small part of that, and then also internal within the design team, like all kinds of little, hey, like, this character's anniversary is coming up, or like if a Beast Wars movie's coming up, wouldn't it be smart to do more Beast Wars masterpieces because a movie's coming up and it would coincide with that, or reissue an Optimus Prime Beast Wars masterpiece with a new sculpt, or it just makes sense. It just makes sense. That's one way to do it. I know that like Aaron Archer said that when they were doing Energon, they would sit down with Takara, like here's Hasbro's side, here's Takara's side, and they would go back and forth. They'd be like, Takara would be like, we want to do a Starsaber character. America doesn't know who Starsaber is. Well, then maybe we can make another character that's in the vein of Starsaber. How about Wingsaber? We wanted to have a sword. How about a combine element instead? Okay, and then you meet in the middle there. So we want to do Astro Train. Japanese people like bullet trains. They don't really like steam engines. Okay, we'll make Astro Train with a steam engine, a connection. That's where those things kind of meet in the middle. I mean, look at Raiden getting a masterpiece. That's solely a Japanese thing. That has nothing to do with us. That is a exclusively Japanese market, Japanese idea for Japanese train enthusiasts. So I hope that helps. Tom Laney wants to know, with the YouTube member question, what do you think of those stop motion videos using Transformers? Some of them look really cool. There's a guy on Twitter. He did one with the fossilizers. I forget his name. I apologize. I'm pretty sure someone will post it. His stuff is incredible. Incredible. Like, that's some, like, Hollywood level stuff he's doing. It's really, really good what he's doing. And I mean, the fact that he had the time to be creative with how one character bites another to make the combining of the modulators with the fossilizers, that is really, really talented. Where some of those official stop motions, they're pretty, his name is Lumikin. Is that his Twitter? Because he was posting it on Twitter. Does he have a YouTube? Because I saw it through people, I think it was him himself posting it on Twitter. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Because I was just about to say, Hasbro and Takara have done their own stop motion stuff, and it's not as good as this guy's. This guy, it's like, he has more frame rates, there's more complexity and like just cleverness, where it's like how one thing leads to the other, and it's like it's thinking ahead, and really, like, he's almost like he's storyboarding it. Where he has a YouTube. Okay, beautiful, because go check his stuff out afterwards. Really, really good. Really, really good stuff. Very talented dude. Lumikin Studio is his YouTube channel. Thank you, MF. Check his stuff out too when you're done. When you're done listening to this crazy man. Oh my God, we have 15 minutes left. Woo! We flew today. 15 minutes. I just want to again give a shout out to my sponsor in the meantime. Again, Symbiote Studios, with all the cool stuff they do. Guys, I can't wait to show you the next batch of plushes that they're working on. It's 4 new characters, and they're amazing. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. They're still being developed. They're perfecting them so they look really nice, so they could join your crew of people on the couch. And my shark one there. My flesh eater over there. Actually, man eater. But yeah, awesome stuff. I can't wait to show those. Check out symbiotestudios.com. The link is in the below. And if you want to support Hasbro, go watch that. If you haven't already, go watch that. Tom Laney, thanks. We'll definitely check it out. Yeah, his stuff's really good, man. His stuff's really good. I wish I could remember some others. Like, I mean, I wish I could remember some other ones that really stuck out, that caught my attention. But his stuff, man, like that is like Nightmare Before Christmas, Hollywood level, frame rate, planning, like very well done. And he puts audio with it, where even the Hasbro ones, it's kind of like they don't really put audio with it. They just have the characters grunting and making noises, and the frame rate's not as nice. So the ones that were like featured, like if you saw the 86 movie in theaters during that anniversary thing, and I think they showed one of them during the Hasbro Pulse fan event. They're okay, I guess. But you know what's also awesome? Be sure to check out the Toy Armada with Aaron Archer. Episode 3 is out. When you're done listening to my crazy voice, why don't you listen to Aaron and me talk about the aliens, or Jurassic Park, or even maybe some Transformer stuff. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah, man, we have 10 minutes left. What is going on? What is going on? It is flying today, the news. And all the chats and everything. Awesome stuff. Next week, I'm trying to arrange to maybe have another guest next week. A really good guest too, like someone who works in Transformers. But we're trying to work out the schedule right now. So I probably shouldn't have mentioned it, because I'm still trying to hash everything out because of our time zone differences. And it's something where I want to be able to do it at 8 o'clock so you guys could see it on a Saturday night. as opposed to, that way you guys could ask questions in real time, as opposed to like I could record it and then put it up, but then you guys can't ask questions. It'd be cool if people, because that's the one thing, like the Q&As, I want that, you know, especially with the super chats, I want people to be able to ask questions and stuff like that. And when we had like, you know, Christina and everything, and they were asking super chats, you know, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. Ask a super chat for one of the plushes back there, maybe. But yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I'm actually curious because, you know, like they, when Hasbro announced the top figure of their fan vote, and Tigatron won for like Kingdom, and I remember asking myself, and I wanted to do this, and I guess I'll ask it now, like who should have really won? Because Tigatron shouldn't have won because no one had that toy outside of people who stole it. So it's like, if you put Tigatron aside, who should have been the real winner? Because like last year, it was Skylynx. You know, Skylynx won the Commander class. And the year before that, if I remember correctly, who was the year before that for Siege? I don't remember. I have it in my notes somewhere. But it's like, you know, like those were legitimate winners. Like those were legitimate ones that won that were good. And it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. You know, like I'm curious who would have actually won. Like there was, because I almost feel like it's, I don't know, I don't want to say it was fixed, but what a weird voting. What a weird voting. Did someone like just like make a whole bunch of bot accounts and just vote Tigatron just to troll Hasbro or something? Was it Cyclonus? Oh, okay, no. So someone voted Cyclonus. Yeah, Cyclonus was really good. Tom Laney, yeah, Walmart is re-releasing Alien and Predator toys in G2 colors. They look like crap. Well, it's not G2 colors. I think they're homaging the they're homaging some of the Kenner stuff that they did back in the day, because there was a lot of wacky stuff. There is a lot of wacky stuff. You know what? I almost feel like maybe the reason why Tigatron won was because there was so much good stuff in Kingdom that all the votes were scattered. There wasn't like one solid thing that was awesome. So maybe everything just got thrown around. So Grimlock, what's stuffing you up with cotton and polyester? Oh, the plushie. The Symbiote Studio plushies are made out of a special kind of fabric called Xenomink or something, which feels like very nice. It's very weird material that feels like almost kind of cashmere-y, I guess is the best way to put it for anyone who's, I guess, who felt that. It has a very interesting feeling to it. It's really, really cool. Really nice plushes. Really good quality plushes. Princeton, I guess I will not be buying that doll. It's actually $188 on Walmart. What? Why is it so expensive? Why is it $188 for that doll? Did I all of a sudden jack the market on it? Did the beginning of this stream create a demand for that silly display? I hope not. I hope everyone can get that display. Well, we know the name, the Crystal Disco or whatever. I'm going to look that up. I'm going to try to see if I could find some links so people could be able to purchase it cheaper, if that's true. I hope that's not the case. Because it's such a nice display. Such a nice display. Man, oh man, such a nice display. Let's take one non-super chat question, because I was seeing it pop up a few times. Where is it? Just one non-super chat. I'm being nice this time. We're going to take... Let's go with... Here, I'll even not answer it properly. Proto Silver 97. What's your favorite Power Ranger show? My favorite Sentai show. Power Rangers outside of the original and maybe Zeo. I'm not a fan of the later ones. But Sentai, I love Special Police Deca Ranger. Deca Ranger is easily my favorite Sentai series. Followed by Shinkanger. O Ranger is really good too. What's another really good one? after O Ranger. Kaku Ranger was fun. Car Ranger is hilarious. Car Ranger is really good. I'm more of a Sentai guy. I'm less of a Power Ranger guy. That's why a lot of that Lightning Collection stuff doesn't speak to me, because it's like, oh, I wish I had the Japanese actors' heads on them. You know, like they're gonna probably do another Lightning Collection of a whole bunch of like the SPD characters, and it's gonna be none of the Japanese actors, which is a shame. Call me a purist, if you will, when it comes to that, but I really like the Japanese stuff. Princeton says it's a 2019 collectible. Oh, really? Oh, really? I didn't realize it was that old. And you're right. 2019 MGA Entertainment, made in China. Electronic devices, made in the Netherlands. Look at that. It even lights up your face. That is so cool. Anyways, we got 5 minutes left, people. 5 minutes left. I'm messing with Skywarp here. Again, shout out to Timmy for the hookup for Skywarp, who we knew was going to have some... We knew was going to have a Silverbolt repaint at some point, and they just called it Skywarp because it would just be easier. Because if we do get a Silverbolt, we know who it's going to be from Beast Wars, and it's not going to be his Magna Boss equivalency. Let's see. I'm scrolling through all the super chats here, see if I missed anything. We had a lot of questions today, and we have 4 minutes left. Tom Laney says, what's the most you've spent on a particular toy that bit you in the arse? So something that was worth a ton of money, that I bought for a ton of money, and then it went cheaper later. Probably Ultimate Bumblebee, I would have to say. Yeah, Ultimate Bumblebee from the movie line, which was, I think it came out in 2008. I paid $100 Canadian for it. And then in the secondary market, there was tons of them. And they were going as low as 40, 30, 20 bucks. And now nobody cares about that thing anymore. What's another one? What's another one that I spent a lot, and then later on it was just like... I think it's a lot of the movie ones, because those ended up going very bad in value later. Ultimate Bumblebee is definitely there, because that was $100 that just went like nothing. None of the, like, you know, the pre-2000, because this is all like pre-2000, most of it. Most of that stuff I paid reasonable prices, and it's held its value, and I didn't feel stupid about it. Even prototype stuff, I don't feel bad. No, I'd have to go with that Ultimate Bumblebee. Camera's turning all the way there. Ultimate Bumblebee, I'll go with. That's one of the weirder ones. It was a fun toy, but it wasn't $100 fun. And comes with sound effects. Yeah, and that Ultimate Bumblebee came with sound effects. Came with sound effects like, you're my best friend, or something. It said like, you're my only friend, or human friend, or something like that. It was fun. It was like it kind of reminds me of like a lesser version of that RoboSen Optimus Prime that's $600. It reminds me of that, where it's like, it just doesn't automatically transform. But it's something where it came out, I spent a ton of money on it, and then I was just like, ooh, there's a ton of these in this. Like, afterwards, they were like at every garage sale. They were at every flea market. They were at every convention for like $20. There were so many of them. I think at one point Costco, I think, had it as a holiday item, and then it ended up being cheap through Costco. So that's how they just kind of got flooded into it. Because when Costco gets a pallet of something, you know that's going to be in every Christmas stocking. And then they end up in the secondary market afterwards in droves. So I think that's kind of what happened. And I was like, man, I can't believe I spent $100 on that. And that was $100 when I was still working at Burger King. So that was like a day of work easily. Not even a day of work. Hold on. After taxes, barely a day of work. So that was like a day gone in the toilet right there. Having a tomato thrown at you for a screwed up Whopper order or something. We got 1 minute left. Man. Played the G1 theme song. Yeah, didn't it? Or it played the touch or something? I remember it did something like that too. I don't remember. It's been so. I'm literally looking at it in the corner there. It's easily one thing I will give it credit. Outside of the Grimlock, that big giant battle / Grimlock from Age of Extinction, it's the biggest movie toy. I guess if you don't count, even is pretty much taller than the Revenge of the Fallen Devastator also, but it's definitely one of the biggest because I'm looking at my display right now and only Grimlock is taller. But it's it's okay. It's just I probably shouldn't have spent that much, but it was the movie hype. It was like, oh my god, Bumblebee! Oh, it's a really good Bumblebee toy. Oh, movie hype. Buy everything, Proto Man, because money is not an option. You're crazy, and then you're gonna regret it later. But yeah. Anyways, guys, we're done the chat for today. We're done the stream. Thank you, everyone, for coming. Thanks to all the sponsors. Hasbro, be sure to check out the latest Transformer TV series that is on YouTube right now. The finale of Cyberverse, Part 1. Be sure to check that out. Of course, Symbiote Studios with the plush, with the pins, with all of that. All the cool stuff. Get a t-shirt. Get a cool t-shirt. Rock the t-shirt like I am. Get the Optimus Prime. Freedom is the right of all sentient beings. Get a Soundwave shirt. Get a Bumblebee plush or something. Get some cool pins. I love the pins. The pins are really cool. They're metal. Really cool metal pins. Check them out, symbiotestudios.com, in the link in the description below. There's going to be a lot of stuff you could do afterwards, or just listen to the Toy Armada with me and Aaron if you want to continue hearing my voice. It's out there. But thanks, everyone, for coming. If you want to help support the podcast and keep everything rolling here, we also have Patreon down there. Check out the Patreon below. You get cool stuff. Get to join our Discord. And just have a good time. Thanks, everyone. People who sent stuff in the mail. People who came in. We topped out at about 170 people today. A little bit of craziness at the beginning, but the fandom's crazy. What do you want? Take care, guys. Check out Cyberverse. Check out Symbiote Studios. And check yourself out. Roll out.